بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا. أما بعد, my brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He created Adam alayhi salam, before He created Adam alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to the Malaika, Inni ja'ilun fil ardi Khalifa. He said, I have decided to send on the earth a Khalifa. Allah did not say, Inni ja'ilun fil ardi Malik. Allah did not say, I have decided to send on the earth a king, a Khalifa. Who is a Khalifa? A Khalifa is the difference between a Malik and a Khalifa. A king is somebody who makes the laws. The king issues a farman. From tomorrow, this will happen. It will happen. Nobody will question the king. So the first one, the king makes the laws. Number two, nobody can question the king. Why did you do this? Because I am the king. My word is law. Right? I am the state. This is the position of kingship. So king makes the laws. Nobody can question the king. And good and bad is decided based on one criterion, which is, does it please the king? Is the king happy with that? It is good. If the king is not happy, it is bad. In the case of the Khalifa, all these three are different. The Khalifa does not make laws. The Khalifa implements laws. He follows the laws and he makes sure the law is followed in the states. Number two, the Khalifa is questionable and answerable to the king. You cannot ask the king, why did you say this? No, but the Khalifa is answerable. The king can ask him, will ask him. And the third thing is, in the case of the king, good and bad is what pleases the king. In the case of the Khalifa, it is what pleases the king, not what pleases the Khalifa. Right? So if I am the king, I will say good is what pleases me. But if I am the Khalifa, I will say good is what pleases the king, not me. Even if I don't like something, I have to do it because it pleases the king. Now this is very, very important when we think about ourselves. The reason I'm saying this is not for some intellectual benefit. I'm saying this because this is the reality. This is our reality today. And the reason why we have problems is because we have forgotten this. We have forgotten that we are not kings. We want to live in this life as if we are kings. And that's where the problem is. We want to make our own laws. And by laws, I don't mean parliament and this and that. I'm saying laws in terms of what we apply to ourselves. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made a law, but we choose to follow it or we choose not to follow it. Selective obedience is disobedience. Because if you are if Allah has made three laws, you say, I will obey number one, I will obey number three, but number two I don't like. This is not the way a Khalifa is to behave. That is why, if I ask myself or ask you, are you Allah or are you Abdullah? Which one are you? Astaghfirullah alazim, na'udhu billah. No, not astaghfirullah, na'udhu billah. Are you Allah? Are you God? Or are you Abdullah, the slave of Allah? You're not Khadimullah. What's the word for servant in Arabic? Khadim. Look it up. Go into Google Translate and type servant and translate into Arabic. It will never say abd, it will say khadim. So are we Khuddamullah or are we Ibadullah, Abdullah? So I'll talk about this tomorrow, inshallah. But today, as far as the king and the vicegerent is concerned, the Khalifa is concerned, laws, we want to live as if we make the laws. So we make something halal on ourselves, we make something haram on ourselves. We will follow this, we will not follow that. Based on our likes and dislikes. Yeah, I'll give you a simple example, especially since we are sitting in Hyderabad. One of the things which Hyderabad is known for, and known for negatively, I mean, there's nothing to feel proud about it. People laugh at us. We should be ashamed. Is the Hyderabadi weddings. Right? हम इतने बेगैरत हो गए, हमारे को शर्म भी नहीं आती. क्या बोलते लोग? 8 बजे की शादी है तो 10 बजे गए तो लोग आना शुरू होते. बोलते नहीं बोलते? ये अच्छी चीज़ है, बुरी चीज़ है? तारीफ कर रहे लोग, आए हमारे पे हंस रहे. You invited at 8 o'clock, you must go only at 10. Only if you go at 10, then people will start coming. So is this something to feel proud about or something to feel ashamed about? The ostentatious spending in weddings. किसको दिखा रहे आप? Who are you trying to show off to? I was in Jeddah once, and one of my friends, there's one huge function place in Jeddah. Some कुछ नाम है उसका, Al Khaliti या Khaliji या कुछ ऐसी, some name like this. So massive halls. So he told me that, he told me the name of the Saudi person, and he said he had his daughter's engagement here, and he spent 30 million riyal. Daughter's engagement. तब यहाँ शादी करके दावता करके लोगों को इम्प्रेस करना चाह रहे. 30 मिलियन होते तुम्हारे पास, तो कह रहे तो किसको इम्प्रेस कर रहे? उन्हें 30 मिलियन खर्च करके भूल भी गया, तो हुआ इम्प्रेसिंग. So what is the show about? You also have dance, and you also have music, and you also have all kinds of ostentatious spending, and men and women, khalt malt, everybody together, and everything which Islam has prohibited, we do in the weddings of our children, and then we are very surprised when 3 months later they are divorced, 6 months later they are divorced. हर हराम काम करके क्या बोले तो बरकत कैसे आती? कहाँ से आती? खरीद के ला बरकत रत्नादीप से. Really, I mean, the question is, what nonsense is this? And as far as I'm concerned, I hold people who do this and people who go to these parties equally responsible. आप कहीं भी जाते हैं, आपको मालूम नहीं क्या होने वाला है. ये जाना दिखना, कहीं कैसे दिखना? Why do you go? They go and then they come back and tell stories. अरे साहब मैं क्या बोलूँ आपको, कल आपको मालूम है क्या हो रहा था? मेरे को मालूम ही नहीं है, मेरे को मालूम करवाई हुई न को, ग़ीबत मेरे को सुनना नहीं है. आप कहीं को गए थे मरने को? नहीं, सीरियसली आके सुना रहे किस्सा. पहले करे काम गलत, अब ग़ीबत करके और एक हराम काम कहीं को कर रहे भाई. आपको घर में खाने को खाना नहीं है, कहीं को खाने को. These are not ways of gaining the rida of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You do everything which Allah has prohibited, and then you want some barakat to come from somewhere. From where? That is the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made salah fard on us for 5 times a day. to remind us of who we are. Sometimes people who don't know Islam or non-Muslims, they ask this question, why do you need to pray 5 times? You can pray once, you can pray once in a week, you can pray once in a day, or maybe in the morning, in the night. Why 5 times? To remind us of who we are. ये नमाज अल्लाह के ऊपर एहसान नहीं हो रहा. Some people ask the question, why does God need? God doesn't need. Allah doesn't need. We need. Salah is for us, to remind us of who we are. Who are you? I am a slave. I am a vicegerent of Allah. I am a Khalifa. So I remind myself again and again. One of our teachers, Maulana Yunus Patel Sahib Rahmatullah Alayh, he used to say, Salah begins outside the masjid. Your Salah, the effect of your Salah, is it Qabul or it is rejected, is seen in the way you place your shoes outside the masjid. It is seen in the way you park your car. I remember many years ago, in Ramadan, we were having Taraweeh here. And we get a desperate call from the church outside, opposite us, to say that somebody, one of your people, has parked their car across the gate. And it so happened that the priest there, he had some health emergency, he had to be taken to the hospital. They cannot get him out. They can't take their car out because one of our people has parked his car across the gate. I even found out who it was, but I don't want to, expose the name. 50 लाख की गाड़ी खरीदते, उसको पार्क करना नहीं आता. क्या करना बोला इसके लिए? What is the solution to this? You buy the car and then you want to drive it on the highway 150, 160, 160 पे चला रहा हूँ. 160 when you are driving your car on the highway at 140 kilometers an hour, 160 kilometers an hour, one little stone like that is enough. So I said to one of my friends, I said, when you drive, आप करो 160 पे चलाओ, 260 पे चलाओ, मेरे क्या जाता. But remember that if you crash, you have 2 options. If you die, you have died in a haram maut. And if you don't die, then you will have to live all your life with the knowledge that because of you, all the people who were in your car, some of them died, and some of them were maimed and became paralyzed and paraplegic and wheelchairs, and they got blind or something happened to them. And then whoever you hit, whatever happened to them, all of this is your fault. You will have to live with that memory for your whole life, and then when you go before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all of them will be standing in line saying, Ya Allah, give me my haqq from this stupid man or stupid woman who was driving this car at this speed, knowing it is wrong, knowing it is against the law of the land. The Zahiri ulama have given a fatwa to say that if a Muslim goes against the law of the land which is made for the benefit of everyone, this Muslim has left Islam. He is a murtad. Hey? Even if you don't go there, even if you don't say he is a murtad, definitely that person has committed a major sin, gunah-e-kabira, for which he will be answered to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. खाली speeding ticket का मसला नहीं है. It's not a question of saying, I will drive fast and there's no cop. No, that's not. Allah is watching. You are the Khalifa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is the example that you are setting for the world? Somebody told me a beautiful story. The problem is this thing, I will sit here and tell you stories, you will listen to the stories, you will go home and then still गाड़ी चलाए तो फिर वही चलाते. शैतानी रफ्तार. Somebody told me a story of he was driving with a Japanese friend, America. So the Japanese friend was driving, he was sitting in the car next to him. And they were coming back from somewhere very late. And the light turned red. So he stopped, his friend stopped. We all do this, at least in America, when you try, we do that. We stopped. So his friend of his, he said, this Hyderabadi guy, he was with him, he told him, why are you stopping? There's nobody here, nothing. There's no traffic, absolutely, middle of. The man said, no, maybe there is a child watching. Maybe there is a child watching, meaning that I am giving an example, I am setting an example for some child to say it is okay to go through a red light. So child ki fikar hai. Allah is watching, that we don't worry about. I'm giving one example of parking and the way we enter and leave masajid and driving, small examples. But the reason I'm giving this example is to remind myself and you that Islam is not on this musalla alone. Jaan se hat gaya to phir hum basha. Nahi. Islam is for every instance of our lives. Is to live with this awareness that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching and I am accountable. I remind myself and you, let us think about this inshallah and try to live our lives in a way where we act as the vicegerents, the Khalifa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then take this message to others. وصلى الله على نبي الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.